Good morning everyone and welcome to Nifty Noodles live on a Tuesday. I'm just going to make sure that the camera's set up at the right angle. The clock has just chimed, so it's definitely 10:30. I will just slide my mat back a little bit so that hopefully we will get... Hello Anita, gosh, you were quick off the mark today. Hello Christine, as you always are. Right, I've just, it always takes a bit of time to catch up on the screen. Hello Dawn, thank you for joining me. Okay, I'll give it a couple of minutes. I must say there have been some absolutely amazing cards made and posted on the Creative Minds Facebook page over the last week, so I would like to thank everybody who watched last week and made one of the cards, I can't remember what I called it, a double fold out card, something like that. Hello Miriam, and I hope you've all been using up your stash that we've been encouraging you to use. Hello Diana, good morning Sam, hello Gail, I guess you're in between or maybe your little ones are having a nap. Hello Linda, morning Mary. Heck, everybody's early today. Mary, I think you're usually on your break, I think, at this time. Okay, I'm going to start. I could do chit-chat about the weather or one thing or another, but hey, I'm not going to today. It's nothing startling outside. Okay, today I haven't actually got you a finished card to show you what it's going to look like, because I haven't actually done one of these yet. I've done some prep. I have 3 different types of papers that I'm going to use today, but it's quite an easy one, should all work out fine. And we're going to start off with one piece of A4 card. Doesn't have to be white, colour of your choice depending on what papers or what stamps you're going to use with it. Hi Sue, morning Liz. But the great thing about this is it's just a little bit different, this card. Kind of a bit of an easel content card, but it's just one piece of A4 paper, piece of A4, and I have cut it. Let's put that to one side. You are going to cut your card along the short side at 4 1/4 inches. This means that the piece that's here is 4 inches, so it works perfectly in that for a bit of matting and layering or a bit of layering, the smaller one fits nicely on there. So 4 1/2, sorry, take that back, 4 1/4 inches, 4 1/4 and 4 inches. The piece that is 4 1/4 inches, you're then going to just trim slightly so that it is 11 inches high. And that we're going to fold in 2. Your slightly narrower piece at 4 inches is going to be cut down to 10 1/4 inches. Okay, so we have 2 little scraps of card that we'll put in the scrap file that we will find a use for later. Okay, morning Elizabeth, morning Gail, 2 Gails today. So scoreboard, and I hope you've all got a scoreboard that has both inches on one side, centimetres on the other side. I think I don't know what I used to do without my scoreboard actually. Okay, longer piece of paper, piece of card, we are going to score at 5 1/2. Okay, along the long side. And your slightly thinner piece of card, which is 10 1/4 long by 4 inches, we are going to score at 2 1/2. And then because the folds are going in opposite directions, I'm going to turn my piece of card over and then score at 5. Okay, that, you will be pleased to hear, is the most technical part of making this card. Pop the scoreboard away where it lives, under the desk. Hello Alison, good morning Jerry as well. Okay, so on the slightly larger piece of card, just just on the halfway where you've scored, just really burnish that with your bone folder. Okay. On your slightly thinner and shorter piece of card, you have 2 score lines there that you are going to fold and score in opposite directions. Okay. So you're going to end up with 2 pieces of card. One just will stand up by itself. The other one, we're going to have it that way. We're going to place on the front of the card. It's difficult for you to see from a camera point of view there, but it will stand up. It's like a double fold there, so you get some dimension to your card. I hope you can all see that okay on there. Okay, good morning, Pat. For this first card, because we're trying to get some stash busting done and use up some of the old, not necessarily old papers, but some of the stash, we buy and buy and buy things as crafters, and the more we buy, the less we use of what we've already got, because it's like anything else. You buy something new, you want to use it. So for the month of March, I am revisiting some paper boutique collections that I have, and I'm going to do my first card with Wild and Wonderful. Okay. The great thing for this one for me is that I know we'll all be the same, but I'm going to use one topper, so that's great. But all these bits of offcuts that you end up with, because yeah, you never use the whole sheet of the paper, do you, unless you're doing an 8x8 card, which I think we rarely do. You get all these offcuts, and the card that I'm making today, I've literally only used little bits of the offcuts for the decorative papers. With my paper boutique, I do also tend to buy the coordinating card. It's a little bit on the thin side is the card in terms of making, you know, the actual base for your card, but in terms of matting and layering, it's great. And again, loads and loads of offcuts here, and I have cut into just one full sheet of the coloured coordinating card for this, but apart from that, everything is just bits that have been left over from previous cards. So because it's not too big, this card, it is a great way to use everything up. Okay, I have my base card, and I have cut a mat which is very, very slightly smaller. I wanted to do that because I wanted just a little bit of contrast. When I place this piece of card on top of it, I wanted a little bit of contrast. I'm not going to give you an exact measurement, because if you don't quite get your base card at 4¼ inches, you might have to just tweak a little bit, but you can all measure and put a mat of your own size on there. Okay, so first things first, collal glue at the ready. I know, I think last week somebody asked what sort of glue this was that I was using. It's called collal. As different people watch on a Tuesday, it seems to be a question that constantly comes up about what sort of glue we use. I love the collal wet glue because you can move your paper or card around a little bit once you've actually got it placed, just to make sure that everything's straight. Okay, so that is the base bit done. Okay. My slightly smaller piece of card that has the 2 folds on it is where I'm going to put my decoration. Okay. On the back panel, I have used a very pale pink piece of scrap, the scrap card from the paper boutique, and put on top of that one of the patterned pieces of paper, and that is going to be very quickly stuck onto the back of there. It's not a massive card, but it's one of those that's perhaps slightly smaller in size, but it is a little bit different, makes it special. Okay. My go-to size of card for most cards has always been a 6x6 square, but I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone recently and try different sizes to different shapes. Okay, so that's my back panel done. Okay, it's got a few bits and pieces here. I'm going to do 3 cards today, the same style but with different papers, just to show you how different they can all look. Just having a quick look, just make sure I'm not missing anything in the conversation that's going on. Okay, I don't need to decorate the inside bit obviously because it is not going to be seen, but the front panel, I've taken this time some of the plain green card and matte and layered with the different flower paper that's also in the Paper Boutique Wild and Wonderful kit. At one point I would probably have tried to match everything exactly, but again, going slightly out of my comfort zone and using up and making the most of the paper that I actually have available in the bits and pieces. Okay, and again, just if I'm working in centimetres, I tend to leave about 2mm all the way round in terms of a border. If I'm working in inches, often 1/8 of an inch all round. I've mixed and matched my centimetres and inches today, which is why I'm only giving you the base measurement. Okay, that piece is going to be stuck onto the front of there, so I think I will stick that on now. Now I could be brave and go straight for my Cosmic Shimmer Glue, which sticks pretty much straight away, but I am going to use the Collal just to make sure that I get it placed exactly. So that is going on there. Now it does not go right to the bottom of your card, your base card, but that's fine. If you put it in the middle, you're going to get just all your matte and layers showing. Give it a right good push down. I don't want it moving. Okay, I'll just give that a second. And then my topper today, again, this is something that I have had to work on. You get your square toppers, and in days gone by I've taken the square topper, perhaps matte and layered it with something, stuck it on a card. I have now learnt that you can actually die cut your toppers depending on what pattern or picture you have on your topper. Find a die that fits it without cutting or compromising too much of your picture, and you can get a different shape out of it. Okay, so the dies I used, I couldn't tell you where they're from. They're some of the first ones I bought, and they could be Creative Expressions. Don't look like those. I tend to take things out of packaging and put them on magnetic mats, so sorry I can't tell you where they're from, but there's just quite a large spacing though in the dies, so the mat is really quite large, but it works in this instance. So I've matte and laid that on green, which matches the green of the front, and that is going to go reasonably high on there so that it doesn't get too obscured by the front flap of the card. Okay. And again, let's get that glued on. I've noticed this last week that people are still trying to make some Christmas cards, get things ready for this year, but we're in March already, aren't we? And racing through March, so it's not going to be long. However, more importantly, Mother's Day coming up this weekend. Hopefully cards are pretty much ready when needed for Mother's Day. Okay, so topper finished on there, and then I decided to go with the wonderful double layered sentiments from Lisa Horton Crafts. I do like these. They're a wonderful size. You can mix and match colours. The stamps are brilliant quality, but I do always use my stamping platform when doing those, just in case you need an extra bit of ink putting on for a second stamp. So that's the one. Oh, Dawn, Spellbinders. There could be Spellbinders dies actually. I used to get all my craft supplies at Samuel Taylor's in Leeds, because I don't live too far from there, so I think they were pretty much Spellbinders and craft, what did I say, Creative Expressions, but I don't think they're Creative Expressions. You're probably better on the mark with Spellbinders, thank you. So anyway, back to my sentiment. I could have put it just on the front like that, but again, I am trying so hard to get out of comfort zones. I am going to, I think, put it at an angle across the front like that. So just being careful that I don't actually glue that top little bit. What I tend to do is put fingers or a pencil mark over the sections where I don't want the glue to go. And I did test the Cosmic Shimmer before I started, and it wasn't bummed out. It's better, it's coming out now. Okay. So my sentiment is going at an angle there, and I just thought that Smile It Looks Good on You was perfect for the little koala bear who's got a cheeky little smile going on there. Oh God, it stands up. Yeah, and it's difficult to show you again on the camera from a stand-up point of view, but your card will stand up. You can see from the side the pattern that it makes when it is stood up. So we've got like, oh, I can't call it a double easel because it isn't a double easel, is it? But it's a double fold card, something like that. But we're not quite finished. With some of the coordinating paper, I have just die cut with my favourite little Craftwork card daisy stamp, daisy die, and a little blob of glue in each of those. And I will just finish off with some little flowers. Matter just where they go, just place those somewhere on here. In fact, does it need one on the front? Pop one on there. I think that might do it actually. I've now got an even number, but there are 3 on that panel at the back and just 1 on the front, so I think I can live with that essentially. And then just to finish that one off, I have some tiny coloured pearls. I think you can see those, courtesy of The Works, I believe, and I was going to put a pale pink one just to finish off in the centre of each of those flowers. And the pink is great because it coordinates perfectly with the pink. Anybody would have thought that they were part of the collection. Just pop that in there. Last one going on. Give a bit of a press down. Okay, so that is if I can just show you that, if it shows up okay. That is the first card, made pretty much exclusively out of little scraps of paper from a collection that I've had yeah, a couple of years or so. So a great way to use up bits and bobs. No reason why you can't do your own stamped image or embossed folder, background, all that type of thing. So that's the first one. Hello, I'm just doing a few hellos to Jenny. Hello Pauline, glad you found us again today. Oh, you were watching last week, bless you. Well, you found us now, so hope you enjoy the rest of this. So that was my first card, and very, very quickly, it is going to be a repeat, but I thought I would just show you how different the cards can look by using different papers. This one, I did have a mistake, and I cut this I think at 5 inches instead of the 4 1/4 base, so I did go on to 2 pieces of card for that, which was purely my mistake. So it looks a little bit fatter, does this one. And on here I decided to cover the entirety of the base card with quite a nice bright pink card. It's a very thin Hobbycraft basic card. The pink on there serves a purpose. And then I decided, it says, looking under here, to use some polka doodles, and I love how bright the polka doodles papers are. It's only a little 6x6 paper pad, so I did have to cut into a full sheet, and it was my last sheet of this one, but I love the orange and the pink together on there. Okay, so that's going to be my second base. I've used for the front section again one of the papers out of the polka doodles. It's called Posy Doodles, and I have matted that with the same pink card as is on the back base. It's just got some splodges of colour on it, so it's not completely plain. Okay, that's going across the front. And then, if you are a regular watcher here, hello Julie. Julie, happy post is in the post. It went in the letterbox yesterday. I love polka doodles images. This little girl, she is from one of the digital collections called Winnie Celebrations. Obviously it's digital printed out, and then I have used Lisa Horton dies. There I've used the nested, scalloped and plain circles on there, and I've cut her out with the one that has like the it's not really stitched, don't know what to call it, the hyphenated edge. Okay, and I put it on some Craft Consortium ink drops background just to get a nice contrast, because it just went with the colours of her dress well. She is going on there, and I'm going to put her towards the top left. Okay, so you can see there the Craft Consortium ink drops papers are just beautiful. They are double-sided, so the only thing is, yeah, you kind of use 2 bits of paper in one, but they are gorgeous colours. So she's going just in the edge of there, and the great thing about this type of image is she doesn't have to be necessarily straight. She's probably better at a little bit of an angle. So she's going on there, and then I have used for my sentiment, again I've stuck with polka doodles for everything on here. They are sheets, and they have, each sheet has 4 sentiments on, but they're very nicely spaced out, so you can actually die cut them to shape or size that you want. So I went with the smaller size in the nested, scalloped and plain circles. Did end up a little bit bigger perhaps than I wanted, but the sentiment's quite big. Create your own sunshine, have a great day. Perfect for the times at the moment. And that is going to go on the bottom right on the front section. Okay, now again that's just a little bit bigger, so I'm going to leave my finger across there but glue the rest of it. Okay, and I can get that straight onto there, and if I just check, I have no glue keeping out over there, but just in case, as I press that down, just make sure. You see, this is where, if you've got writing like that, using the collal, you can actually twist if you don't think you've got your text straight, but I think that looks okay. And again, I used one of the Polka Doodles papers for the scalloped mat on there. Okay, just to finish that one off, because like I said, dead easy, dead simple, I'm going to glue her onto the back, glue the back of this onto the front of the pink card. Just a little bit awkward with the double fold and the flap there. Okay. Just get that nice and central to the mat. Let's give it a bit of a squish round because it's a bit cockeyed. Press it down, and again, remember, it will not be at the very bottom of your card. You should still have a space at the bottom of your main card blank at the back. Okay. She looks nice. And then this, I think, was possibly the very first die, or one of the very first dies I bought. It's a weird little die. It's 2 flowers on like a metal plate, very, very thin. No idea what brand that was, if indeed it was one. I don't use it often, but I just thought it suited the style of these flowers on here. So to finish this off, we're going to have a mixture of flowers on here. Put the orange one on the front. Tiny, tiny little dabs of glue here because there are little holes in all of this. So I'll have it overlap in the front just a little bit. Oops, might be too much on there. Great thing about most of these craft glues, they do all dry clear, so if you do get a little bit that seeps through, it is not the end of the world. Now I could pop that there or pop it there. I think I'm actually going to put it here. Okay, just takes away some of the white of the sentiment. Okay, and then these 3 flowers. I'm just going to bob up here. Oops. Oh, that wasn't so good, was it? Decided the pink was just a little bit overpowering, so I'm going to pop that under the patterned flowers. Okay, a slightly smaller one. Okay. So, if I can just replicate that so that you can see how that looks. Okay. Oh gosh, Anita, you've got those tiny little flower dies. Oh, wow, amazing. I think there's a leaf as well that goes with it, some leaves, but an incredibly thin stalk on the leaves. So that's very, very different, isn't it, to your paper boutique, but you know, it's just a dead easy card but a totally different look. And I know I wasn't using up scraps of bits and pieces. Okay, it is 11 o'clock. I was going to very, very quickly show you this one because I forget, I think was it Jill, you were trying to do 6 Christmas cards. Now, was it a month or was it a week? I'm sure it wasn't a week. It might have been 6 Christmas cards a month. Maybe it was a week. I'm a great believer in making Christmas cards before Christmas. I know some of you can't bear the thought of Christmas cards before, like maybe November or even December, but because I do have quite a few to send, I do try to make them throughout the year. And at the moment, what I'm trying to do is, quite often as I make a card, I will make a Christmas card alongside in the same style or design, and that way I am very slowly building up my Christmas cards. With what I've done over the last week, I think I'm probably up to 30 so far this year. Okay, so I'm using the wonderful Holly Hobbies, obviously, for this. And on the card there, I've just put a little bit of check ribbon. You'll notice I have a gap in the middle. I'm going to cover it up, but as in true Yorkshire Girl style, why waste ribbon when you don't need to cover the whole thing? So I've just wrapped a little bit of ribbon around those edges. Now, I could put foam pads or some card behind here and make it 3D, but I don't want, because it is a folded card, I don't want to make it too bulky. Especially Christmas time when there's a lot of things going in the post. I want to be able to send it in a normal sized envelope. So I've taken one of the Holly Hobby toppers and just layered it onto one of the plainish green backgrounds, a bit of backing paper. She's there with a present, she's gorgeous. So I've put the coordinating present paper on there. I'm going to stick the whole thing. So you see how quick this is. Assembling the cards isn't too bad. The cutting out, because I am very, very particular in terms of having things the right size and to the millimetre when I'm cutting out. So for me, the cutting out is what takes the time. And then, like I've done today, if you want to take the time and make 2 or 3 cards, what I do is, do all the cutting out, get everything ready to assemble on the cards, and then when it comes to actually making them, I get quite a bit more enjoyment out of actually making them, because you get a very quick end result, finished product. And for the front of this, rather than sentiment, etc., what I decided to do is, again from the Holly Hobby kit, I've taken a tag, just put a little bit of ribbon through it, and that is going to go on the front of there. So again, a little bit of glue on here. I'm just glancing at the comments, and Jill, I see you say you've made double already. Was it this week? Oh, nearly double that this month. So is that 12 this month almost? Sounds good to me anyway. Sounds good. Let's get that reasonably centrally on there. Good press down. And then the great thing as well, say for, either Christmas, birthday, just a card to say hello. If you want, you've got actually lots of writing space, because you could write in the middle of the card, you could write on the back. On this one, I've taken one of the insert papers and cut off to size where the Holly Hobby is, and the same image as is inside the card. So I will later add a Christmas greeting sentiment on there, and I love how they stand up. As I say, I hadn't actually made one of these before this morning, and I was a little bit dubious as to whether they would stand up or whether they would splay out, but this is a glass cutting mat, which is always very slippy, so it stands up beautifully as well. So that is 3 cards. I won't say 3 cards in half an hour. I made them up in half an hour, but yes, it did take me a little bit longer to do the cutting out and the measuring, but that's part of the fun of our crafting, isn't it? So there we go with those. I'd like to thank everybody for joining this morning. This one looks a bit smaller. No, it's the same size. Gosh, isn't it weird how your eyes can play tricks on you? Thank you all for joining this morning. I hope you've enjoyed what I've put together. As I say, great ways, because they're not massive, great ways to use up that stash. Revisit a collection that you haven't had out of your drawers for ages, see what you can come up with, and I'd really look forward to seeing what you all make. So thanks again, enjoy the rest of your day everyone, and I look forward to seeing you again here next week. Okay, goodbye for now.